Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. And the first thing that I want to talk about is that Bitmain co-founder is to unleash 100,000 ASICs during the Sichuan rainy season. So prepare yourself if you have any Bitcoin ASICs for probably even less profit here pretty soon. So a new mining operation in China may start affecting the Bitcoin network as soon as up to 100,000 ASIC rigs are being prepared for the Sichuan rainy season in May. So according to a local media report led by the Jank Group, the new venture is a significant arrival among Chinese miners and counts among its backers Bitmain co-founder and former CEO McRee Zhao. Again, I got nothing. The Chinese publication suggests that Bitmain has a share in the mining operation through Fujian Chuang. Jeez, these names. It's like they do it on purpose. This 100% owned subsidiary gives Bitmain up to 40% of the capital on the mining operation. Building a new large-scale mining farm may boost demand for Bitmain's ASIC rigs, just as the company is struggling to regain its appeal after its difficulties in the last 2 quarters of 2018. Yeah, it's going to boost the demand for their ASIC rigs because the difficulty will go so high, you'll need to buy another one. The launch of the mining farm is also a sign that Zhao remains involved in the Bitcoin business. So, in case you guys don't know, the Sichuan Valley... great place for food comes from. But other than that, there is sort of a dry season and a wet season in the Sichuan Valley. And when it's wet season, that means that more rivers are filled up and more hydroelectric power, and therefore the hydroelectric power cost goes down. And so they're going to bring 100,000 ASICs. And it doesn't really state what ASICs, whether they're S9s or old S7s or S15s. I would imagine a lot of S9s, as there was so many, there was probably millions of them produced, that they're pretty cheap just to move around, you know, especially during like the Bitcoin Cash versus SV hash war. Bitmain just basically probably took a ton of its old stock of S9s that they don't run anymore and just sent them out across China so that everybody could plug them in. So most likely just S9s, maybe a bit of S15s in there or something like that. But either way, in May, we could probably expect a gigantic increase in difficulty of the Bitcoin network, which is already at a all-time, well, maybe not quite all-time high, but quite a high indeed, as December of 2018 was the lowest profitability for Bitcoin miners that has ever been. The highest profitability was actually December of 2017 and January of 2018, interestingly enough, just because that was the all-time high. And there actually wasn't a lot of hash rate during that time compared to now. Now we've seen quite a bit of increase of hash rate, and so ASICs just really aren't making the money, which is kind of weird, because, you know, if it's not making enough, people are going to shut down, and then the difficulty is going to go up, and then they're going to go right back up. So I don't think it's going down anytime soon, but rather going to be going up in May here. So moving on to the next article, QuadrigaCX co-founder Michael Patron allegedly traded large positions at bitmex, where everybody likes to get wrecked all the time. Posting history clues suggest a Reddit user frequently posted about making large volumes on bitmex might be in fact Michael Patron, a co-founder of QuadrigaCX. So the Canadian exchange ceased operations on January 26, leaving many of its clients confused and panicked. 7 weeks prior, the firm's CEO and co-founder Gerald Cotton suddenly passed away, and they filed for an application for creditor protection in the Nova Scotia Supreme Court on February 8, citing issues with locating very significant amounts of cryptocurrency in the wallets that we know that basically don't exist at this point. So Patron appears to have repeatedly posted on Reddit going by the username MikeXBT. He posted a month ago that he seemed to confirm that he is a shareholder in QuadrigaCX. He said, "We're invited. It was not mandatory. Most shareholders did not attend." In another comment posted on February, MikeXB responded to another user calling him Mr. Patron. In April 2014, MikeXBT was directly linked to Michael Patron as one of the candidates running for a slot on the Bitcoin Alliance board. Francis Polat, I got nothing, posted his information on a public forum in 2014, including his handle MikeXBT. Globe and Mail published a story last week asserting that Michael Patron's real name was Omar Donani, and that was he was convicted a felon who served time in the United States for his role in an online identity theft ring. in 2004 when Donati was 20 years old. He was arrested by the United States Secret Service for operating an anonymous electronic money laundering service. So just a kind of employee that we want at QuadrigaCX. You're hired, sir. Did you get arrested? Are you a known felon in the United States and then moved on over to Canada for identity theft and electronic money laundering services? You're the kind of guy that we need today. So he basically had a whole bunch of long positions and bitmex positions, you know, around the time when this was all going insolvent. Someone in the comments posted on April 2018, closed by 7 million long, posted here on 6,580 at an average of 6,840, a gain of approximately 4%, plus earned a bit in maker fees and perpetual fundings. So another long of 8 million, added 1 million, 2 million short at 8,722. So, you know, not entirely confirmed, but apparently this guy was using a lot of money. You know, probably more money than anybody would make just running an exchange, at least QuadrigaCX. I just highly doubt he had millions upon millions, and was also a convicted felon for money laundering and identity theft rings. So, perfect employee. In a time when something was going bankrupt and insolvent, yeah, it makes a lot of, it actually makes a lot of sense. Anyway, so moving on, Binance's BNB is no longer tracking Bitcoin, and that's a big deal. So in case you guys were living under a rock, Binance Coin is going through the roof at the moment. It's up more than 140% year to date. It's now deviating from Bitcoin's price trend, a feat not commonly observed in the nascent crypto markets. So while the reasons that most cryptos are highly correlated to Bitcoin are not definitive, yeah, they are, because they're all with Bitcoin pairing. How is that not definitive? I called that years ago, like a year, I don't know, 2 years ago, that that it's because of all the exchanges with Bitcoin pairing. So if you have Bitcoin to just name a random altcoin, Vertcoin, if Bitcoin goes way up in price and Satoshi is essentially doubled, then the individual Satoshi buys double that of whatever it was paired with, and then that's going to go up in price. And then when that goes up in price and a bull run comes, then they buy it disproportionately. So that's why a lot of these altcoins go up disproportionately, even though their market cap is incredibly low compared to Bitcoin, because not only people are buying into that coin directly, but people raising the price of Bitcoin raise the price of everything that it's paired with. How is that not hard? Or how is that hard? I don't know. BNB currently ranked 8th, and I think it's actually 7th now, is in fact the only cryptocurrency out of the top 10 to post a yearly gain against the dollar. The next closest performer, Tron, is printing negative 44% annual loss. So you can see BNB here is just shooting way ahead of everything. You know, with the excitement of the DEX coming and just, I don't know, I guess the quarterly burn of BNB. So it's going way up in price, disproportionately to Bitcoin, meaning a lot of people are taking their funds to Binance and disproportionately buying Binance coin. So how long is that going to last? I figure, you know, it might go up a little bit more, and eventually we're probably going to end up seeing, you know, a dump in Binance coin for a little while, and that's just usually the way it goes. Not saying it's a bad thing, but probably going to happen sooner or later. So 73% of UK consumers say they don't know what cryptocurrency is, and now I have something else after this tied to this similar idea. So 73% of UK consumers don't know what a cryptocurrency is or are unable to define it. So announced Thursday, the research indicates that those who are most aware of cryptocurrencies are likely to be men aged 20 to 24. In the survey, which polled 2,100 and some odd British consumers in association with the firm, further found that only 3% of those surveys had ever bought cryptos. Of those who had purchased, half of them spent under £200 from their disposable income, and Bitcoin appears to be the most popular crypto, with over 50% purchasing the crypto and, well, about 34% purchase Ether. So despite this lack of understanding, the crypto asset owners interviewed were often looking for ways to get rich quick. Wow, who would have thought? So regarding risk to investors, the watchdog said the survey findings suggest that currently the overall scale of harm may not be as high as previously thought. So not many people are actually really buying crypto in the world. And this is pretty apparent if anybody didn't really know that based on like just looking at the crypto market cap compared to everything else in the world. It's abundantly apparent that most people in the world, upwards of 90% plus, have either never heard of it or just have not bought crypto. So we still have a long, long, long way to go in terms of crypto. Now, I think one thing that throws a lot of people off, and I really wish there was sort of a bi-monthly or every few months there was a campaign amongst all of the cryptocurrency community to educate somebody that you know that does not buy crypto or has never heard of crypto. And a part of that education, I think, should be that, hey, did you know that you can just buy $10 of Bitcoin, that you can buy $50, $100, $200 of Bitcoin? Because I think when crypto enthusiasts look at crypto and they see Bitcoin at $3,000 or $6,000 or $10,000, they think, wow, that's crazy that people can afford this. I can't afford that, right? I don't have $3,000 sitting around. I don't have $10,000 sitting around. Now, I remember about a year and a half ago, there was sort of a movement, and once in a while it'll show up on Reddit where somebody's like, did you know that you can only buy blah, blah, blah amount of crypto? And I think that's a really good thing. I think for most people, obviously in the crypto world, that information is borderline patronizing because it's just so well known if you're into crypto already. But for a lot of people, it's not. Let me give you an excellent example of this and why we should have a worldwide movement in the crypto industry and crypto enthusiasts, crypto experts, anything that you think you are, and what you should do. And this is the perfect example. So I made a video on how Coinstar machines are now selling Bitcoin, which is great. You know what I mean? You can take your spare change, you get the money. Unfortunately, you have to go the way that a Coinbase machine works is you take a bunch of your money, your bunch of coins, and you pour them into the machine, and it gives you a receipt that you take to the counter of whatever store that was operating in, and then you get your money. So if you got 50 bucks in coins, you pour it in, and then you get a receipt, and it takes about 10%, which is quite high of a fee. However, if you really think about it, conveniently, I would probably be willing to pay somebody 10% if they would come over to your house and roll all of your spare change. Wouldn't you? I mean, it seems like a lot of work rolling all of your spare change. Some people have hundreds of dollars of spare change. You have to go to the bank. You have to get a bunch of those wrappers. You have to count them all, put them all in there, count them all, put them all in there, especially with the pennies, right? That's a lot of work. And for only 10%, why not? Essentially, it's kind of free money at that point. If you had a big jar of change growing for a couple years, you didn't use that money anyway, right? So anyway, the fee, not worried about that, but you take your slip, you go to the counter, you get your money, then you have to go back to the machine and put those bills in, those $45 or $50 in bills to get a receipt for Bitcoin, which you then go online and they send it to a wallet. Now there's fees involved in all of that. It's certainly not the most efficient way to buy Bitcoin, but it does give a good promotion to Bitcoin, let's just say. It's good for Bitcoin. It's certainly not bad. So here's the most perfect comment that makes my point. And I really think this person was being serious. I don't think this was sarcastic at all. And even if it was, it's still quite prevalent in the world. It says, so mama goes to the Coinstar machine with 30 bucks in change that took her 2 months to save up. She dumps it in, and they take 15%, or whatever, it's 10%, but I guess you could say a little bit more percent if you want to cash out the Bitcoin too. But either way, and gives her a slip to take to the cash register. Now, they want these people that don't have $2,500, which I'm sure he or she was referring to the price of Bitcoin, which it was not $2,500 at the time. I think it was like $3,500 or $3,600. But either way, to buy Bitcoin with what? A credit card? Question mark. Now they can charge them high fees for this transaction, and their credit card company will also charge a fee. No wonder people are poor being screwed by companies like this. Coinstar should be ashamed of itself. This is adoption at its worst. So there's so many things wrong with this. This is the kind of person that thinks that you need $2,500, $3,600, whatever the price of Bitcoin is, to buy a Bitcoin. In the same way with stocks, you don't need to buy all of it. So interestingly, they come onto the channel and they try to argue against this because they think that you're supposed to take 50 bucks of change, and then if you want Bitcoin, you're going to have to take that 50 bucks plus your credit card to go on to some kind of exchange or whatever this person thinks you buy Bitcoin from, and spend the rest of the $3,000+ in order to buy an entire Bitcoin. But I replied to it. I said, wait a sec, do you really think you need $2,500 to buy a Bitcoin? You could buy fractional amounts of Bitcoin. You can own 0.1 or 0.0001 or less Bitcoin, or anywhere in between, up to 8 digits. So you can buy $5 of Bitcoin, or 20, or 10,000. So I repeat it again. So I just want to let you know that you can indeed buy Bitcoin with that $30. You do not need to buy a whole Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fractional up to 8 digits. And I don't think a lot of people know this. I think a lot of people look at the price of Bitcoin, TV watchers, and they see it ticking on MSNBC, on Fast Money, or whatever, I don't know, whatever it's called, CSNBC or wherever it is. And they see it online, and they see it in papers. They see it, when they go and, send in their pictures of their dogs to all their grandkids or whatever. I don't know. And they see that Bitcoin is up to $10,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever it is, and they think, wow, that's insanely expensive. If I had that money to buy one, maybe I would. But they don't realize that all they have to do is put in 50 bucks or 100 bucks or 150 bucks, and if Bitcoin doubles, so does your money. And that's the way it works. I had a friend. It was actually my wife's friend, and she buys Bitcoin to buy this very specific product online. And so she ended up having to go and buy, this so much Bitcoin, and I think she had like 30 bucks left over one time. And she called my wife, and she was like, I need to buy more Bitcoin to get this thing. And when she checked her Bitcoin account, it turns out she had enough money to buy it, even though she only had 30 bucks of Bitcoin left over afterwards. Months later, she needs to buy it every 3 months or something like that. And months later, she checks the Bitcoin price, and this was a while ago during the bull run, and she has $90 in Bitcoin. Bitcoin had jumped up threefold in those months that she had not checked it. And she's like, wait, it's worth $90 now? And I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. It goes up in price, it goes down in price, and you need to spend it, like at specific times. And she was quite impressed by that and how much it goes up. So there's a lot of people that just don't know anything about Bitcoin, about crypto, that have not bought it. And it's just interesting. So we're going to kind of skip CoinMarketCap today. And I want to talk about something else. So I want to skip this topic here, move on to the next one. I want to talk about the Brave browser. So I have a lot of people on my channel. In fact, I had one the other day, and I apologize to you, but I had one the other day, and I've had several in the comments over the past months, upwards of a year now. I don't even know. Once in a while, I'll get a comment saying, do you not use the Brave browser? I have some BAT for you. And I say, no, I don't have it. And eventually, I decided the other night to download Brave, which is a reasonable explorer, a reasonable internet browser, if you will. There's nothing wrong with it. I do like the fact that you can load up BAT, and that what you could do is, let's say if you have $50 of BAT, you can allocate it to different websites. So if you say allocate it to MrSotko cryptocurrency, you could allocate 10%, 20%, 30% per month, right? Or 50% or 100%. And then you can have these other YouTube creators or different websites that accept BAT that are authorized with BAT. So that's great. That's all fine and good. So I decided that I would get Brave and use it like the browser. It's not bad. But one thing you have to do as a creator, as a content creator, I kind of hate that word. It's kind of like the modern, I don't know, whatever. But either way, if you have a YouTube channel or something like that and you want to accept BAT, you have to authorize your channel. You have to confirm the ownership of your channel. And that makes sense so that people aren't just making up fake channels and receiving a bunch of stuff from people. You know, that makes sense that you have to. However, how you do that is you have to go to this site right here. It's called Uphold, and it's a place where you buy and you sell currencies, you send currencies. It's kind of like Coinbase without basically being an exchange. Now, this place has some of the highest fees I think I've ever seen in the crypto industry. They are pretty egregious. So anybody that receives or sends or buys using this platform is essentially like using the base Coinbase platform. So if you've ever bought crypto on Coinbase with not actually using GDAX with like a free bank transfer and free limit trades, if you've just gone on there, used your debit card to buy crypto on Coinbase, you'll notice that first of all, you're paying higher than the actual value currently of Bitcoin. Then you're paying a fee on top of that as well, and you're getting totally screwed. So if you actually buy and sell on Coinbase, you'll never make any money unless Bitcoin basically doubles in price. It's just not going to happen. So that's all fine and good, because as a YouTuber, as a Twitch streamer, etc., if somebody gives me a donation, there's usually always a middleman in between that will take some of that money before I get it, like YouTube Super Chat, PayPal, buying Twitch bits, anything like that. There's eventually a middleman somewhere in between. Now, I, of course, care about how much of a fee that my fans, that the people watching me pay. Of course I do. At the same time, it's not a big deal to me. You should find the easiest, least costly way to donate to someone. But on my end, if you think about it from my perspective, if you give me $5 in PayPal, I receive about $4.60, right? There is a 40-cent fee in there because based on how much you send, it's up to such and such percent on PayPal, right? So you could say, well, I lost 40 or 60 cents somewhere along in that donation, but not really. I gained $4.60. So it didn't matter so much to me. So otherwise, this BAT accepting Uphold service wouldn't be a big deal. So I go to sign up to it, and the problem that I immediately ran into, in order to verify my YouTube account, I have to send them basically everything about me. I have to link my YouTube, first of all, with an API. I have to send, they want your passport photo. Then they want a photo of you. This reminds me of Facebook, or at least Coinbase is at least an exchange. And if you have to do this with an exchange, I guess fair enough. I don't know. It's up to you. I was not willing to do it with Uphold, not in the least. I had to send I would have to send my passport photo, then upload a photo of me, put in my address, put in my my telephone number, everything about me essentially. You have to put in here, and I was absolutely not willing to do that. I immediately uninstalled the Brave browser. I immediately backed out of this Uphold service and did not upload my private information to this, because that to me is not cryptocurrency. Now, sure, I've had to put in some personal information to Coinbase and various other exchanges. Way she goes, I guess. But you could always find a decentralized exchange, even though those are dwindling. Either way. So cryptocurrency is starting to turn more and more and more corporate. They want your ID. They want your KYC. They want your passport photo. They want your address. Why do you want my address? What does that have to do with anything? Why do you want my phone number? What does that have to do with anything? So I backed out of that. So if you have allocated Brave to my channel, I urge you to take that back and put it somewhere else if you would like to. In the description below, I have ways to donate. I have, if you are looking to donate to my channel, you can go to the front page. There is a little PayPal link. You can go into the description of almost every video, and there is a few addresses for crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. I just added BAT to it. So if you want to donate BAT to me, now I'm not saying this is you have to do this. I'm just saying this is the way around this wicked KYC, this wicked we want your passport photo. No, thank you. I put a public key of my BAT into the description. So if you have BAT, take that away from the monthly allocation, take it back, receive it back, cancel it. That's fine. I appreciate the thought. I love that you guys appreciate me enough to allocate some of your BAT to my channel, but I'm not going to accept it that way. That is not how I choose to operate in the cryptocurrency world. I think it defeats the purpose of cryptocurrency. Therefore, it's now in the description, so you can just send it to there. In fact, I also have my email address in the description below as well, MrSotko@gmail.com. If you see any other email address, it is not my email address. I also have a Yahoo and stuff, but that's totally different. That's my like junk email. Because there is a MrSotko cryptocurrency at Gmail, but that is a scam that was trying to send it to my users who was trying to get Bitcoin as an investment. That's not me. I think there was a MrSotko1 at gmail.com. Also not me. It is just MrSotko, MrSotko at gmail.com. Any other ones is a scam. Do not respond to them, or maybe respond to them and just troll them. Why not have some fun? And you can email me and say, hey, I want to send you this coin, and I didn't see it in the description below. And I'll say, not a problem. I will get you that address, and then I will call you out on the channel if you would like. And if you say, hey, don't call me out on the channel, don't worry about it, this is just an anonymous donation, I won't. That has happened numerous times, and I just didn't say anything about it afterwards. But that's about all I have for you guys. I'm sorry for anybody who has allocated BAT to my channel. I think I said Brave. Did I say Brave a couple times? I don't know. Anybody who has allocated BAT to my channel, please just take that back. I'm never going to accept it through the Brave browser. I'm never going to sign up to Uphold. Just give it to me the old-fashioned way. Send it through a public key. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry, no coin market cap today, but you can always look that up yourself. As usual, I will see you guys next time.